What's up, guys? It's your girl Serpentine 10, and today I want to talk about something that is been on my mind for a while. You always know that I'm always thinking about things, and one of these things is how a lot of the story in Street Fighter 6 is kind of all over the place, and I feel like there was some unfinished business from 5 that I don't know if the developers will even ever talk about. They might not. And I want to talk about that today because I just felt like they left us, just hanging with a lot of storylines from two particular characters, and me seeing how the story is kind of going with Aki. And yes, I played all of the story or arcade with Aki, and it seems like she's with Fang, and I thought Fang was dead, but apparently he's not. He's also in the world tour mode, alive and well. I swear that I thought that he died in 5. I thought that he fell in lava or something in that story mode, but who knows why he's alive. But it seems like he wants to find the remnants of Shadaloo, and he has Aki out looking for them. And it's some kind of stuff where she kind of comes across Chun-Li. She even comes across JP because she knows how, I guess he's using the money now to fund his own endeavors. But it's so weird, and I feel like it's a lot of things that are just undone that they didn't talk about in 5. And I got this feeling that it might never be addressed, and it seems like they're just moving on to the next thing. And with people like Fong still around, it makes me wonder, where's Balrog, and where's Vega? To my knowledge, nothing happened to them. So I got a lot of questions, and I also got two characters I want to talk about, their stories that just never really got wrapped up, and it seemed like they got left on like a cliffhanger in Street Fighter 5. So I want to talk about that today and see how this might link up or might have any relevancy to what's going on with the rest of this story that's continuing in Street Fighter 6. The first character I want to talk about that I feel like things kind of was left undone is Rose. So I feel like Rose was particularly brought back in Street Fighter 5 mainly because G existed, and she needed to talk to Oro, who also came out, about who G was and his existence, and this weird ending that kind of showed up that she talked about that I just feel like they just left it on a cliffhanger, and it's so weird. And I know that usually when things are going down in the Street Fighter universe, Rose is usually there, and stuff is going down if she shows up. She seems to have the insight about a lot of stuff that's happening, and if she shows up, stuff is going down. And I'm just wondering to myself, is she going to return? Or are they going to just leave what she was talking about out? Because I feel like it's kind of messed up, because she said some real relevant things in her ending that I just was thinking to myself, when the next game came out, this is how things were going to be. Now, I know that a lot of people probably remember her ending, and I know a lot of people was talking about it. Even I was thinking, are they going to reset Street Fighter? And it's just kind of weird that nothing like that is being said unless they setting something up in this game. And I just feel like it's a little weird that they're not talking about it. So it's this whole section in Street Fighter 5 where Rose finally fought G, and nobody really knows what G is, who he is, where he's from, what he wants. He says he wants to unite Earth, but nobody really knows that. And in some way, somehow, she was able to see his thoughts or see what he was planning. And he was like, yeah, you understand it too. And I feel like everything that was going on was so vague. Ever since, G kind of debuted, a lot of people think that he's Q. I can understand that. I mean, he has a lot of his move sets and everything. And even when JP showed up, I thought that JP was G, looking different or something. I thought that he maybe had phases or something that he went through. But with this ending here of it seeming like some kind of doom was going to happen, and Rose knew about it. And it seemed like she came to this conclusion at the end of the game or whatever, that it was something that had to be done about whatever G was thinking. And they don't really say what he was thinking, and they don't even go over what the vision was. But we know it's some impending doom, because she's just the world's gonna end, and it's a gigantic glacier fell into the ocean and whatnot. And all of a sudden it was this moment where she was just kind of by herself talking about it. how she can't do anything about this, and she has to like reset time or like go back to her old self and tell her old self to like stop this. And I'm thinking to myself, what? Are we about to like reboot the whole series? Are we going back in time? It's so crazy that that might be a thing, because we know that Mortal Kombat keeps doing that. Mortal Kombat has like the time reset way too much. I think they've done it more than probably any game I've seen, well, fighting game anyway. And it was kind of crazy. I know she was talking to Manat about this. Manat might even come back, who knows. But I know that she was like, everything has to be reset to 0, I believe that she said. And it was just like a really weird flashback that she was in this tub and she was just like, I don't know what I'm going to do about what, that guy was talking about, but it seems like I got to go back in time and like tell my old self to stop whatever's going on and reset things to 0. So if you guys don't know, I think that there's like a Street Fighter 0 or Alpha or whatever that was out a long time ago, and it seemed like they was going to like reboot that. That's what it seemed like this ending kind of was hinting at, but it wasn't even like, I don't know, talked about all the way. And it just seems like this needed to be explained, but I don't know if it will. Do y'all think that this should be explained? Is Street Fighter 6 the reset? Or are they just going to skip out on this and never talk about what Rose was telling us at all? Because it just seems a little weird. So next I want to talk about G. And G is a character that at first I feel like when people first seen him, they didn't like him. He's obviously to be looking like, a mixture of Abraham Lincoln and maybe Uncle Sam or something like that. But it's something going on with him where he seems like he's like an elemental, or, he has geokinesis. He had like a gold, and I thought he was really cool. I mained him in 5. It's something about G that is just really bizarre and odd and strange. It seems like he kind of breaks the fourth wall, like he's talking to the viewer. Even in his story mode, you don't really get him talking. It's almost like the viewpoint of somebody else. When other people's story modes are not like that, the only person's story mode is like that is his. And I feel like he ended up being the main villain in Street Fighter 5, and they just threw Necalli out the window. And they were just like, hey, he's not the boss. This guy is. And it's so weird. I mean, he had a lot of people spooked, because they'd like, who is this guy? What does he want? Nobody knows. And G is not explained. They need to explain G. So will they? So with us knowing that, G is somebody that has not been talked about enough, they need to explain him, and they need to explain that weird ending with Rose. Those two characters need to be in this game. It would make no sense at all if G's not in this game. Now, I know there's been some hints to G. I know somebody found some data mining stuff that hinted at G in the data mine. I don't know if that's 100% legit. But you can also see, I think in Guile's ending or one of those photos, he's like in a picture in the background there. I know that, it's a lot of stuff about JP that kind of hints with G. I know that JP has a company that's called like, what is it called? It's something that means Earth. And we all know that, G is all about Earth. So I don't know if they know each other or what, but it's weird that they're not talking about G at all. It's obviously something linking something to whatever was going on in 5, and it's weird that they're not talking about it, and it needs to be explained. I feel like Rose needs to be here and G needs to be here, and they seem like they're a huge part of a story that's just kind of like left out and just not going to be talked about. Now, I know a lot of people think that G is Q. He has his moveset. It's not, 1-to-1, but it's very close to his moveset, and it's very likely that a lot of people do think that he is maybe Q, before he becomes him. But I don't know, with the way that the story looks like how the game's going in like a particular order, it seems like that might not be the case. I now know that JP and G is not the same person at all, but that doesn't mean that they don't know each other. It's very likely they might. So, I mean, we just don't know that. We don't know a lot about JP. He seems like up in the air, mysterious figure as well. And we just don't know anything about G. They just kind of like left that out. But I think it's dumb to not have that character show up in this game. I feel like something got to be explained. But I don't know if anybody else feels that way. Do y'all feel that way? Do y'all think that G needs to be in this game? Does his story and what Rose was talking about need to be explained? Because I'm starting to get to a point where if Capcom does this thing where they show like a person like Q, mysterious person, and then you see somebody like G, older dude, and then you see JP, another older dude, they have similarities in their look. They're not the same type of character. They fight different, they talk different, but it's this kind of archetype that Capcom is making about these characters that have like these letters to their names. They look similar, they dress real fancy, but they don't ever talk about them. They just leave them in the dust, and then we'll be thinking like, who are they? I don't know if this is like some joke that Capcom just wants to do and not tell us who these people are, or is this all gonna end up being something like, does all these people know each other and it's up to Rose to stop it? It's a ridiculous thing to like come up with, I know, but I don't know why, something like that seems like it has weight, like what Rose was talking about, just be, thrown to the side and not talked about anymore. It's very strange and bizarre that they don't want to talk about that. And if they are, why are they waiting so long, with it? Because they keep on coming out with a character, like JP. It's still that mysterious character nobody knows about. They keep coming up with a character like that. So I thought that was weird. And, for Fong to be in this game, Aki's in here messing around, trying to find out what the remnants of Shadaloo is doing. So Shadaloo seemed like they out there somewhere in some small capacity, but we just have to see. But yeah, I just want to see what y'all thoughts is on, these stories being kind of left in the dust, and should they come back, and what y'all think about, G and Rose being in this game, and should they come back to try to explain what they was doing in 5 and how do they tie to this story now. But you guys know what you have to do. Make sure you guys are following me on my Twitter, and make sure you guys check me out here every week on YouTube. Until next time, guys, peace.